Pastor, you can keep praying for those reps if you want to, but it won't help, I promise. Every time I come to this breakfast, I am continually amazed. I remember the first time they asked me to come, I had no idea what I was going to experience, but I think it truly epitomizes who we are and what true Hawk fans are, and I just want everybody in this room to know how much I appreciate, how much our players appreciate your tremendous support. We had Big Ten Media Day yesterday, and I can tell you it was a lot more pleasant than it was 3 years ago. We were picked 11th. It's never good to be picked, lower than the name of your conference. That wasn't fun. But picked a lot higher this year. The one question that kept coming up yesterday was, okay, Coach, now you have expectation. What do you think? How do you feel? How do you feel about that? I bet you I was asked that question well over 100 times. And to me, this is what we have built this program to do, is to compete for a championship. When Gary hired me, he didn't hire me to be a middle-of-the-road team. And, you might expect the coach to say, oh, we're in the Big Ten, best conference in the country, you better be careful. But I welcome the challenge. And the reason I welcome the challenge is because I know the character that we have on our team. We have tremendous senior leadership, with Roy Devin Marble, Mel Salmasabi, and Zach McCaffery. We also have a tremendous junior class, and I'm thrilled for the summer that Aaron White had playing for the United States team in the World University Games, representing our country. And when you look at those guys, just those 4 guys I just talked about, phenomenal workers in the practice facility all the time, working on their game. And that's how you take your program and advance it and put yourself in a position to win a championship. But I think the thing that makes our team special, number one, is, and I said this, I think we have the deepest team in the country. I legitimately can play 11. That was the second question that was asked. Can you really play 11? Can you get 11 guys in there? Are you going to keep them happy? The teams that can't play 11 guys typically can't do that because they don't have 11 guys who can score. Because no matter what a coach tells you about defense, he's always going to have guys out there who can score. We have 11 different players who can score the basketball. And I will tell you this, our center position is the best it will have been in a long time. Adam Woodbury has completely taken his game to another level. And so has Diego Lachine. And I think that is the beauty of what I'm talking about. Every day of practice, they go at each other, and each one is trying to get the other one's job. And it's a healthy battle. And I think as coaches, that's what we want to see. And they both provide different things, and we can play them together. But I have a lot of options, I have a lot of weapons, but most importantly, one of the steps we took last year was we really improved our defense. When you look at our offensive numbers last year, they do not equate to 25 wins. But our defensive numbers did. So I think the key for us is to really focus on improving our three-point shooting, and I think we've done that in particular with Jared Uthoff and Peter Jock. Peter Jock, of course, Parade Magazine All-American, Mr. Basketball, and I, one of the best shooters I've ever coached. Jared Uthoff has shot about 58% from three-point range in 24 practices, which is an amazing statistic. So I think you'll see McCabe come back, you'll see Oglesby come back, you'll see Mike Cassell shoot the ball better now that he's fully healthy. And to me, it's a very exciting time. We took a foreign trip this summer, and that was a phenomenal experience for our team. We played 6 games in London and Paris and the south of France, played extremely well. But we've been practicing, since August 1st. So it is time for us to start playing somebody else. And on Sunday we'll play Augustana in an exhibition game, and then next Friday we'll play our first game against UNC Bloomington. So it's time to start playing people, and it's time to start fulfilling expectation. I just want to thank so many of you for buying season tickets and filling up that building. We were 18-2 last year in Carver Hawkeye, and the plan is to improve that number this year. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce my good friend Kirk Fran. And the day that I was hired, I met Kirk, and he said, you know, anytime I can help you, don't hesitate to call. And I've told stories many times, and I'm not going to go over them again, but a lot of people say things and don't always follow through. But we have become very good friends, and I have admired his coaching. I remember, we lost the first game this year. And I remember watching that team last year at Soldier Field when we beat them 18-17. And I remember I bumped into Mary Ferentz after the game. I said, boy, that was fun. She said, no, it wasn't. It was awful. I said, you know what, Mary? I said, I don't know anything about football. I said, but that team's really good. That team was really good. And nobody knew they were going to go to the Orange Bowl and haven't lost this year. If you think about the teams we've lost to, they're 23-1. That's what the record is of the teams we've lost to. That tells you, you look at how we played against Northern Illinois, you look how we played against Ohio State, you look what Ohio State's doing to everybody else. I think it speaks to where our program is. You look back to last year, and I can't imagine coaching a football team when, it seemed like before we played our first game, we didn't have any running backs, and then we lost our offensive line. It's pretty hard to play football when you're going through that. But I think the thing that's been impressive to me is how he has continued to just plow ahead, stick with the game plan, next man in, and continue to build something special. Like so many of us, I was fired up last weekend. We had a ton of people in our box. We had a ton of recruits on campus. Everybody was going crazy. I think winning an overtime game and playing the way we did. But I think what you're seeing is, you're seeing us continue to improve and continuing to be consistent. I love our quarterback. Jake has been impressive to me from the opening game. And when you have a rookie quarterback, that is a challenge. It's a challenge every day. And it's been a thing of beauty to watch Kirk and his staff continue to develop him. And I think it obviously bodes well for where we're headed when we have somebody with that kind of talent, and I think that kind of mental toughness. I'm excited about tomorrow. There's no doubt in my mind that Wisconsin's in big trouble. We don't like them anyway, so try to make the adjustment. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce my good friend Kirk Fran.